Hello, hello. How's it, people? So, I might typed a bunch of words, but this is a very spontaneous live. I got no clue really where I'm going with it. Just come back from boot camp with Extreme Stillness, Niall McInnes, and my good friend Leon Christensen. This is as good as 4 days in the back of nowhere, connecting with nature, and living on the edge. Now, this type of work seems to be scary to most men, scary to most people actually, as it would seem, because it seems quite hard to get anyone to join in on it. But we took away an awesome group, and once again, I was amazed at the lessons that I got to be a part of. And I guess for me, being constantly researching and looking at what's going on around me, noticing what I think is happening to us, especially as men, and this idea that without challenge, we seem to be taking the easy road, in my humble opinion, way too often. I think this idea that the push of a button with your phone in your hand, you can get access to anything all the time, you can disconnect at any time, you can hide at any time. We're living in a world that is encouraging us to suppress every single emotion unless we deem it a good one. And the good ones, if you put them on the top of most people's lists, will be the easy ones. We seem to be shying away from anything that brings us challenge or brings us discomfort. Now, what I can tell you from my experience again on this boot camp, I love this type of stuff. Now, I was in Africa for a little over 10 years, so that probably makes a little bit of sense because I lived it every day. But what I love about it is seeing men that you would never consider the types of guys to rise to a challenge, not only rise to it, but completely blow it out the water. What we look at in today's society as an alpha male, or a male that we consider the dominant of the species, just for want of a better description, and this is the guy at 100 kgs, full of muscle, who could probably carry, double his weight, is usually the guy that falls away a lot quicker than the guy who's half that size and packing 20 kgs of extra weight. I don't know why this is. I've got my theories, but we won't go into it in this live now. I guess what my point is that I want to see more men face this place of discomfort and face this place of challenge outside of the financial world and outside of their day-to-day homes and environments. The reason I do that is because I believe there's a primal part of us that needs to be re-engaged. I think it is in shifting that primal part that the energy blocks that I think many men are carrying will move and open up to us being able to accept that we're in a bit of dire need of a shake-up. The role models that we chase and the examples that we are setting for the generations below us, again, in my humble opinion, I'm not very proud of. And so I'd like to see people like me and the guys out there coaching challenge this stereotype and this idea more and start talking more about the discomfort in their lives and how the immense amount of growth that they've probably come through came at the moments when there were tears pouring out their eyes, they were confused, had no idea where to go next, and were generally just feeling lost in life. So what we tend to see is shiny people in nice clothes with lovely advertising, advertisements, basically talking about how great things will be if you just follow this set of tools and this set of patterns and it's all very easy. Instead, what we really need to see is your average guy going, I was drinking too much, I lost my job, my wife left me, I was on the bones of my ass, I had no money, and as my knees hit the ground, I decided to stop fighting and actually look at the discomfort and the challenges around me. And instead of diving into more booze, diving into a new relationship, changing jobs, and basically hiding, I decided to tackle those challenges and I decided to face them head on. So I can't go into too much what we did on the weekend, because the beauty of these boot camps and the boot camps we're going to be running in the future is that we like to keep you guys on the edge. So we only give a tiny bit away just to keep you guessing, because again, that's part of the discomfort. We're living in a world, we want to control the outcomes. We have high anxiety because when we don't know what's happening next, we panic. And the truth is, life is full of the unknown, and change is full of the unknown, and that is why we're bloody here, is to experience that change. And I'll end with this last little bit, and that is, we all have a choice whether we want to respond or whether we want to react to life around us. And I believe that the bulk of us at the moment are in a very reactive state. Now, for many of us, it's not our fault. We're being bombarded on all sorts, and I don't really care what the messages are. I don't care who's sending them, and I'm not going to enter into the conspiracy theories about who's on what side. What I am going to say is, I think it's time we start looking at how to respond again. Now, if you want to respond, you're going to probably need to look at some change. It's not as difficult as it might seem, but it will require you to look into some discomfort, and it will require you to face a little bit of pain, and it will require you to deal with bastards like me. But I can tell you one thing, on the other side of it is a hell of a lot of freedom and a hell of a lot of leadership, because that's what my business is creating leaders. People who can live by example and pass on what I teach them to others. So as much as I'm a business, yes, I make money from what I do. The idea here is for this to spread outwards, just like this fucking pandemic, but in a positive way. And that you take those things that I teach you, and you take those lessons and that ability to respond to life instead of react to it, to realize it's happening for you and not happening to you. You are not a victim. There are no victims in this world. There is circumstance. So face that challenge, face that discomfort, sit in that pain. And if you get lonely and then you don't know what to do next, you got people like me talking shit on Facebook all the time. Ask questions, reach out and connect. I'm always happy to offer some advice. I'm always happy to guide and lead where it's needed. Thanks, people. Thanks. There's my 2 cents for the night.